Good morning. So it's pretty early today because today is Knit City. I'm just getting ready. I'm gonna go take you guys along with me and we'll see what we see when we see it. And we're back. So I just got myself a little drink because I am very thirsty. A lot of walking, a lot of talking, and yesterday I decided to put on my Friday tee, which was really funny because one of the vendors there actually did tell me that a lot of people actually knit up this tee and were wearing it. I didn't see them, but he said he saw like 5 or 6 people wearing the same knit. So I'm super happy that I ended up going again. I'm really happy because I felt like this fills up my need for knits for quite some time now. So we're gonna count these all up, add them to the stash busting, and start from there all over again. Kind of continue on from there to destash and knit up all my knits. If you guys haven't checked out the first part of this video, which was Knit City Day 1, I highly recommend you guys go check it out. It is a showcase of all the yarns that I have acquired, and I go in depth into all the projects that I want to knit up with each specific yarn. Today was more of like a cruise. I just wanted to go back and just kind of look around, see what clicked, what didn't. I felt a lot more relaxed. There were less people. There was less choice of color, of course, but that's all good. So the first 3 yarns that I picked up today are these 3, and they are to be knitted up in one of Andrea Mowry's cowl. I forget the pattern name, but I'm just gonna put it right here. It's supposed to be 2 fingering and 1 lace, but I saw someone, there was a stand that had this beautiful, cute little cowl knit up, knit up. I think it's a cowl, but it was a really beautiful knit. My friend really liked pattern, and then the more I looked at it, the more I kind of wanted it for myself. It's a really fun 3-color color work. I also saw a pullover, the same thing, and then a full-on sweater. So she has different patterns and different versions for it, but it's the same ideal stitch, alternating colors between 3 different colors. So I picked up these 3. The white will be the main, and then the 2 will be this lovely brown. So this is a fingering weight, Little Nettle Soft, and it is a dark roast. So that is the color. And then I picked it up Blue Spruce, which is another lovely yarn. So I really like this one. It's a teal. It's a darker, deeper teal than the one I'm wearing right now in my Friday tee. This one is 49% wool, 34% mohair. This one is 68 superwash merino, 32% nettle. And then this one is 68% superwash merino, 32% nettle. So these 2 skeins are supposed to be the same, but this one was underweight, so it was in their discount bin. So this one is from Ancient Arts, and they had a giant bin filled with discounted yarns. So this one was 40% off because it was under the 100-gram skein. So it's a bit smaller, but I think for the pattern, I just need, for the cowl, the main color, I just need this much yarn. Yes. Just the blue is different. It runs 437 yards for 400 meters. This is the wool and mohair one. So this one is a little bit longer. Yeah, and a little bit more floopy, if you can tell. It's really interesting how certain yarns kind of hold their ground and some just like... So these were the 3 that we picked up to knit the cowl, and I'm really, really excited and can't wait to cast it on. Again, clearly it's in my color palette, the brown, the white, and the blue. That's basically my color today. Oh my god, I just noticed. If you guys have watched part 1 of my Knit City video, we are doing a giveaway, and I highly recommend that you guys go watch it after to join the giveaway. But that really made me want my own little sock kit, so I went and picked up my own. So this is the Flowerista sock kit. I did, however, change for a navy blue. It was more of a pink, and I asked. They were ever so kind, and they allowed me to change it to a navy blue. So this is Rosehill Yarns, and it is a DK weight. It is a full skein, 245 yards. TikTok. 245 yards for the 100 grams, and then the mini skein is 49 yards, the 20 grams. It is 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So this one is their Flowerista colorway. So this is what the yarn looks like. I just felt like a really dark navy would work really, really well with this beautiful kind of coral, brown, copper colorway. I just felt like the blue really pulled out the really nice darker tones to it, and I think I'm going to use this for the toes and the cuff. I haven't knit socks in DK weight, so I thought that that was also really interesting, and maybe I could find a DK weight pattern for socks. And then the final 3 mini skeins. So yeah, we only picked up 4 big skeins today, so we did pretty good today. And then we picked up these 3 cute mini skeins. So these are the Tough and Tender by Crafty Jaks Boutique, and they run 136 yards. That's 124 meters for the 35 gram ounce skein. So what I hope to knit with these 3 is, again, some socks. I want to make some cute little ankle socks and use this skein potentially for toes and the cuff. We'll see if it's enough. If not, I'll just do the cuff. But I found this really cute sock pattern that uses a fingering weight that only calls for 250 yards. So because these are 135 each, I feel like that's enough for the socks. I don't know, 250 really doesn't seem like a lot of yarn, but that's what it calls for. Maybe it's just because a sock that arrives like at the ankle really doesn't take up much yarn. I have no idea. So we're gonna see what happens. So this is just a very simple white, a very simple cream white. And then these 2 colorways are Morning in the Mountains, and I really, really liked the purple and the orange in this. Is 95 superwash targee and 10% nylon. All 3 are the same. What I really liked about Crafty Jaks Boutique is they had completely different like weights. So there were mini skeins that were even smaller than these. These were kind of like small skeins. Then they had like medium, and then half skeins, and then they had full skeins. So really depending on what you wanted to do with what color work, they really offer like different weights for the same weight, like different yardage for the same weight. And I thought that that was really, really fun. I think it was one of the only boutiques that had that, because sometimes you don't need half a skein, you need a little less, and sometimes you need a little more, and then So then that brings me on to, I also bought from Crafty Jaks Boutique, I picked up another Turkish spindle. I actually wanted a wood one, but apparently they were already out. My spindle is really, really big, so I thought that one of the reasons why I don't spin as much potentially is maybe because my spindle, it's handmade, so it's really rough, it's really rustic, and it's a really big one. So I just thought that maybe if I got a smaller one, a lighter weight one, it might be easier on my wrists, it'll spin quicker, like it'll just help me spin more. There was this lady selling her hand spun yarn, and it was stunning and gorgeous, and I thought about buying it. But then I was like, you know what? Spin your own yarn, you can do it. So I picked up some of her roving. So this spindle, it is a 3D printed spindle, and it is from Crafty Jaks Boutique. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a label that says Turtle Made. I picked up some roving. Now, so this one is apparently a little bit tricky to spin up, so I don't know if I'm going to spin it just now. I might take another one first to show you guys, but this one is, the color is Oak, O-O-A-K. So 50% is 18.5 micron merino, and then the other 50% is baby camel. So I'm really, really interested. This is 4 ounces. So this is from the Fiber Goddess. I've picked up some of their yarn before. She did say that this one does have a much shorter staple length, and it does. So we're gonna have to see how that spins up. I'm really, really interested to see what happens. And then when I was leaving, because I wanted to get another one, it was a Surrey Silk and Baby Camel, and it was so soft and so shiny. And she was like, don't get that one. That one's you're gonna have a really tough time, and it's pretty much, you're gonna have to spin so fast, it's gonna be pretty much impossible to spin up. But she was like, I do have this one that is a little bit easier to manage. It's still gonna be tricky, and you're still gonna have to get some decent spin, but like a lot of twist in it. But it should be easier because I typically spin more woolly fibers, but this one's just really, really soft, and I usually spin woolen silk. So I thought, you know what, maybe let's try a little luxurious, get something luxurious, and then it'll kind of motivate me to spin. So that was my Knit City journey. Now I actually want to try and test out the spindle. So if you guys want to hang out and try to spin some fiber with me, I highly recommend you guys stay. If not, you guys can just scoot on to the end, and we'll catch up there. So what I like to do when I start my spinning is I take an extra strand. I think it's called like a slip tie or something like that. So I wrap it around, and then I pull the yarn through that loop. So then I end up with something like this. It's kind of like a slip knot. I have wooden floors, so I also tend to put a pillow right at my feet in case I drop it, because I do sometimes just drop it. I loop it at the top, and there you go. You're ready to start spinning. The fiber that we will be spinning today is actually fiber that I picked up last year at Knit City that I haven't gone around to knitting it. It is 80% South African wool, which is very interesting, and 20% viscose. It is from, again, the same company, Fiber Goddess, and this is hand dyed, and I just love the white speckles in it, and I think that this is such a unique, fun color. A really woolly, and viscose is a little bit rougher, stiffer of a fiber. I thought, let's try to spin some of that on my new spindle. I've never spun with viscose, but this is just 30%, so we'll see how that goes. I honestly just love these braids. This one is 4.9 ounces. It's a bit more. I think the other one was 4 ounces. I like to go little by little because I really don't spin much at once, so I don't tend to spin the whole thing at once. So basically I take from the braid, and the braid usually ends up splitting in the center. So I'm still trying to figure out spinning. Honestly, I've never taken a class. I am a self-taught spinner. I am a self-suffering spinner because of that. And maybe I should take up a class. I was a bit disappointed this year at the Knit City classes that there wasn't any spinning. I probably would have taken one had there been a spin, like a Spinner 101. So now what you want to do is just like, this is called drafting. So you just like air out the fiber so that when you go to pull it, it goes a lot quicker. You don't have to start with a waste yarn, a scrap yarn. I like to start like that because I can't get a nice spin to start directly with the fiber. And then depending on how you spin your fiber when you are spinning it, you're going to want to counter turn when you ply together. So now basically you just twist and spin and kind of allow the fiber to just like graph onto. I just kind of like twist with this. So now if I let go, it's like staying on there. So this is a pretty bad tutorial, but basically how you wind it on is you crisscross. So you go under 1 over 2, and then it breaks. Okay, give me a second. So the spindle feels a little bit different. I think I'm gonna have to get used to it. It's a lot lighter, a lot smaller. So this might take some getting used to, but we are spinning. So what I was saying is you go over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1, over 2, under 1, and then that'll create like they call it a turtle, and that'll create kind of a cake. And then basically if you want, you can knit directly from this. Like you can take it off and knit it right away, or you can then use that ball to then ply it together. It's kind of just like little balls of like thicker fiber. I don't know if you can tell as I'm spinning it. Ugh, this is such a light color, but hopefully you can see there's like little thicker parts. That's just like some little white fluff in the fiber content itself. If you guys want some really good spinning tutorials, I highly recommend you guys go check out Jillian Eve. I will link her down in the description, but she is a much more talented spinner than I am, and she knows a lot more, and I watch her videos. So it's another day. Hello. So I found my original spindle. This is the spindle I had. This is massive. And then compared to the new one, this is so cute and dainty and I love it. This one works a lot smoother. It's a lot easier on my wrists. The big one was a gift and it was handcrafted and it is really rustic. Glad that I bought a smaller, more lightweight one. The fleece that we are going with, and yesterday I showed you guys that there was little white floofs in it, little white fluffs, and it's just little like cute little chunks of wool kind of like splat all around. And I was saying that it gives the yarn like a really interesting texture because those fluffs don't like spread out along with the yarn. They kind of stay a little ball, so it's a bit tricky to get a really consistent spin. But what I just realized right now looking at this, so this is what I ended up spinning. I do realize that this might not be the best fiber because it is very, very light in color. But you see this? You see these little floofs? Like they kind of just hang out and just tag along with the yarn, and I really like that. It's very unique. I always wondered how people made tweed yarn. I think it's like this. I think this will technically give me a lime green and white tweed yarn, because I never understood how the tweed stays in such tiny little colored contrast and doesn't like get pulled out and like blend. And yeah, I think this is it. I think this yarn will in the end be tweed. If I am wrong, let me know in the comment section down below. But if I am right, this is actually really awesome and I'm really glad I picked up this one. And hopefully we can keep spinning and maybe spin some fibers and knit it up at some point. I'm really excited for that. I think that kind of wraps up my Knit City journey day 2. It's really interesting. So my day 2 was a lot more tonals, a lot more of a moody kind of blue, like a lot more darker, rich colors than my day 1, which I find a lot of creams and a lot more lighter colors, except for the blue accent color for the porcelain sweater. 18, 19, 20. In the end, we only picked up 20 skeins, so that's not too bad. That doesn't add too much to my stash. And I've already started some new projects recently, so I'm going down. So I think that we did pretty good. So thank you so much for watching. This was a pleasure, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!